Big Boss versus LAV Type G and Peace Sentinel Escorts and Peace Sentinel Captain. take him out when he can't even sit still for 2 seconds. Got him.
Complete. Come on home.
Well, this was an optional boss, and I am reviewing it after the game has ended, and you wanna know why? No grinding. There, not hypocritical. Well, might as well get into it, since we're gonna be here. Gameplay. Well, this is kind of a weird one, because, it's LAV Type G again, just in a different arena. In this case, I don't think it really works in the favor of the boss itself, because we're fighting him in the train station where we fought the tank from before, who was actually in the story. And, you know, the tank was better because it had explosive weaponry, but the carrier has machine guns, and so the trains do not really serve that purpose because they can't be used as indestructible cover, as in usual things. As you can tell, I am doing this review again live. It is one of my last reviews, and, yeah, let's just get into it. Again, usual deal, you destroy the escorts and the captain goes after, but the problem with this one is that it is a lot longer than it needs to for some god-awful reason. This LAV Type G is incredibly defensive. I have no idea why. It's incredibly defensive and it has a high attack power, which makes it annoying because this boss should have been one of those bosses where you just come in and kick ass. But no, this one has to be one that has to grind on your sanity a little bit. I came into this, you know, I thought, hey, one attempt, I'll get out of here. The game's over, I'll just grind through, you know, the optional bosses that are just sitting there and, you know, call the game a done deal. Which I did. LAV was the only boss who fit those parameters. And I closed up the game after that. Well, so the cover doesn't work. You know, the boss is a lot stronger version of what it used to be, but nothing else has really changed. There's definitely a lot more escorts, and they seem to be a little more smarter than what they used to be. You know, that's just what it is. And what it is mechanics-wise, I will give it a 3 Tri-4 score. Story. Okay, so in this case, we are fighting the exact same person, just in a different place. I have no idea why this exists, because not only is it an optional fight of itself, but it's an optional fight happening as an optional boss at the end of the game, so it's double optional, which means it gets double kneecapped for story because it doesn't try. What is the logic of this thing even being here? Big Boss has destroyed Coleman's plan. He's dead. Zadornov has, I think, canonically been found and put in jail. So there's nobody leading these guys around. They're probably just confused as to why they're here and what the hell they're supposed to be doing next. Big Boss just happened to walk in and, happenstance, they end up shooting him because that was their last objective. Doesn't make really any sense. What, these guys are taking a carrier out to do an escort in protected area that has no strategic value whatsoever? There is no logic here. It's complete nonsense at the end of the game. It doesn't try worth a shit for any story reasons, and for that, I'm actually gonna give it probably one of the first 0 Triforces. It doesn't have any credit to its name, it doesn't have a reason to exist, and it shouldn't even be here. If it wasn't here, it would have made a little more sense in the usual arena, because, you know, that was the place they were doing training missions. Again, that's just a theory of mine. You can dispute it all you want because there's nothing set in stone. But anyway, we're moving on to fun. Fun, again, like I said before, I had to grind through this a little bit, and it was kind of annoying because, you know, again, this is the last thing I was going to do in the game. After I was done with this, I checked, and there wasn't any optional lists that had opened up after this boss fight, so I considered it done. I shut off the game, and I consider that Chapter 5 thing that they had alluded to in the credits was just a big old larf. Maybe as a setup for Metal Gear Solid 5. Again, I didn't really double check. I did double check, I just didn't go back and actually do the back-end work because the requirements for doing so were incredibly ridiculous. Like I made another point in another video. Anyway, fun-wise for this boss fight, as I've stopped waffling on about that other thing, it was grindy. The enemy AI was a lot better, which made them a lot more, you know, versatile soldiers. They were able to find you and outflank you because you're doing cover. For some reason, this LAV has a high damage capacity, which means that this thing can take apart your shit in probably less minutes than it takes to realize that, hey, you've been found, you have been located. And it's not easy, it's not. And for a boss like this, I really expect it to just be one and done. I don't really care for you, you don't have a reason. You just are a thing, an extra challenge at the end of a long game, and I just wanted to get done with you. So that's about it. Train station doesn't make any sense. This boss fight really shouldn't have existed. The enemy was really high damage, which, you know, I didn't like because it didn't fit any style of why it should have been here or anything about this boss fight. It's just a big old question mark as to why it existed, and for that I would give it as fun a 2 Triforces because it wasn't fun, it was too difficult, it made no sense, it's catharsis, it's blank, it's so blank it probably should be a freaking shadow, but at the end of the day, what the hell are you gonna do? This boss fight was just not fun in sensible proportions. LAV Type G is as copy-paste fight as you can possibly get. It is a literal copy-paste where they ramped up the damage parameters for no reason and just put it in a different location. You can't swap locations and expect us to be cool about that. You just can't. It's ridiculous. I hated it because it made no flippin' sense. This thing is just a complete question mark and just the usual insults. It's blank, it's useless, it doesn't make sense, it's here for freaking no reason. The people who are commanding this thing have been killed or confronted or imprisoned and have no control. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I've said that 3 times and I have no other reasons as to against this boss fight other than it's hard, it's blank, it's not fun, it's just something extra they stuck on the end of the game to extend it for 10 minutes and just for no reason. It's ironic, it's infuriating, it's probably a smaller dick move, but at the end of the day, the LAV copy-paste fight got a 5 out of 30 for being lax, for being a complete hack job, probably done by developers at the end of the deal, probably just as an extension, probably just something they found in a back file and said they could stick on the end to hopefully round out some optional boss filler. I've hit the hammer home and I really don't want to hit it anymore because I think I'm going to break it. Well, this turned out to be the last boss I did in the game. I've said my reasons as to why I'm not doing Metal Gear Zeke. You can go look for the video on that. It's in the final game review. It's right at the end, so you have to listen to the whole thing. I'm gonna not plug that as much as I've done. I've said my bit about it, and the last thing I'm gonna say to you guys is I love you always, and I believe that you deserve a victory for gamers because we all deserve it. Gaming is amazing. It's the next form of art. It's gonna be the next wave of enjoyment, and it's just gonna be awesome. I love you guys. Subscribe, like, do whatever you want. Give me constructive criticism. I would love that. I would love to say how I can make this better, how I can do you proud, etc., etc. Thank you. Roll the credits.